Well. Okay.
Well, can we get something done now?
What do you mean?
About my son's murder.
I mean, what do you get something done now?
I mean, can Jay go and get his warrants back and go get these people?
Yeah.
Do what they're on
You all talk to Cassie?
She said she was gonna come here.
She's gonna be here today.
Since she wanted to be at the meeting. I don't know.
I didn't know she was coming.
I'd love to talk with her, whatever Gypsy presented that case. What exactly did she present? Because Gypsy asked me to be there when it's being presented, help to present it, and I never was allowed to be there. I don't know what she presented.
Well, they presented it as suicide. They're not going to say that, but I've talked to Marvin Sanders, who was the attorney who presented it, and actually have him on tape. He doesn't know that, where he didn't know that we had pathologists, didn't know anything about Knox Associates. Said that they presented MBI's report, which we now have a copy of, and they added a video
I
that
read
they
a
made.
problem with that MBI report with the bullet ricocheting all over the room before it got to where it landed at. I never did buy into that at all. So where I was trying to get presented as far as, in my opinion, where your son was sitting at when the shot was fired, Bill would even concede to that his own thought was moved over here. I couldn't even get Bill to concede to that.
Can I ask you one?
Sure.
Jersey?
Chief DuBose, what is the status of the case with your department?
The case was turned over to Gypsy Ward with the AG's office, and they, right now, as far as we're concerned, are the ones that has the case.
So,
Now, if you're asking in a roundabout way if we can reopen it, is that what you're asking?
that and the last time I talked to you, the last time I talked to Detective Arrington, we were all in concert about what we believe to be the status of the case being a murder, not suicide. Where are we now? I guess that's the question. When it left here and went to the AG's office, I was up there under the impression the last time I talked to you, you were under the impression
Well,
that...
I came on with Madison and asked Miss Swearingen over there, how, she kept saying that it's a shoot 'em on the ground conviction of murder, and I asked her, show me what you got that you can make it a murder, and she said, show me what you got.
Who was that now?
The, lawyer with Madison.
Oh, Speedson.
Speaking.
Mm-hmm.
But, all she told me to draw with Madison was, she was the one saying that, about what her history was as a prosecutor, how she could do it as a murder. Well, show me what you got, how you can make it a murder. And all she said was, show me what you got. Well, I drove up her to find out. She once said she could make it a murder, but she never did show her cards.
But your opinion is?
My opinion is manslaughter by culpable negligence.
But not suicide?
No, it ain't suicide. But it's tampering with a crime scene.
No.
But before I got it, the statute of limitations already run out on the tampering with a crime scene.
But you were basically in concert with the rest of us that are here that it is not a suicide.
I've never said it's suicide, no.
No, I know you haven't, and I haven't. And all of the findings that the Andreacchios have had done with Knox and Associates, with the pathologists and everybody else, is in concert with what we're saying, that it was not a suicide.
I've never said it's suicide.
Well, and didn't you get a warrant for murder?
I got a warrant sometimes I get a warrant issued to force the hand where I can, make a contact. So far, Dylan and, that female, they refuse to talk to me. They won't talk to me at all. Last I heard Hamilton, Joe Clay Hamilton's son was supposed to be in contact with her. He was gonna bring her in, she's gonna talk to her, but that never materialized either.
So I guess back to your question, Chief DuBose, about reopening it.
Okay, what about it?
Are you able to do that?
We can open any case we want to open.
First step is
We're gonna have to have something different than what Gypsy, I don't know what Gypsy presented.
Nobody knows.
The only way they're gonna go from, based on the information I know, is if something new is presented.
No,
Something-
I have plenty of new stuff.
Well, I'm saying-
Because they
just
would
saying.
not, they would not do anything.
That's the only way that.
We
that
got
I
a
know.
person that puts Jet Miller coming out of coming out of the apartment that nobody's ever spoken to. Even though we told Brad to, that he needed to talk to her, even though we told the AG's office, they needed to talk to her. To the person that I had watching.
Oh, I thought you said, I was confusing the person, you said coming out.
I had talked to Bilbo, and Bilbo agreed that he had told him, I've turned all of this over to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and they referred it to the FBI, because it is a cover-up and it's corruption. Now, whether your department is a part of it, I don't know, because now we're hearing that Thompson is involved in it. And when you look at it, Thompson doesn't even have Whitley that she had Christian phone.
Thompson.
Detective Thompson, that he was the one who questioned her. You look at his his thing of her, and it doesn't have anything about that. He asked her 3 times for her phone, for Christian's phone, and she lied and said, I don't have it. And then she gave it to him. But if you look at his, because we've got all the reports now from MPI, and it is ridiculous that all the stuff that we have, and everybody agrees it was murder, but nobody wants to do anything about it.
I disagree with you on that, because I do want to do something about it. Because when I first talked to you, you asked me about this case, I agreed to look at the case. And I talked with you after I looked at the case, and I told you I had a bunch of questions. I wasn't going to make it. I told you that something just didn't look right, some of the things that I saw in the case. And that's why I agreed to reopen the case. I also told you at another meeting that we had in here that I feel like we are the voice of the victim, because he can't speak for himself, but we have to do that. Now, if there is a cover-up in this department, it is not at the top of the department. And if I find out somebody is covering up something, then they will no longer be a part of this department. But that's not what I'm about. I still think there are a lot of things, a lot of questions about the case. But one of my major concerns is that all the hands that have touched the case. That's one of
Which had nothing to do with us. It had to do with the fact that nobody wanted to, nobody can in all honesty sit here and say this case has ever been investigated. Arrington is the only one, I'll have to say, that maybe have done some investigating. But
I did a lot of investigating on it, and when I tried to communicate with Bilbo Mitchell on it, he shut me down.
I tell Bilbo says, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. He told me the same thing. Now, 5 years later, here I sit because I had confidentiality issues and I couldn't say anything. Now, finally, from the family, so can we use this? Probably not. But I am sick of hearing everybody say there's nothing they can do.
Can I say something? You said something new other than what Gypsy had. Now, based on what little I know about the AG's office and involved in this case, the AG's office never did an investigation. All they did was get the report from MPD, present it to a grand jury. They did no investigation. They never went out and talked to people. They never did. And they're not, and I will say this because I know the people at the AG's office. I've worked with most of them. They're not competent enough to do an investigation into a homicide. Marvin Sanders, I worked with him in the DA's office in Hines County. He's the laughing stock of the DA's office when I was there. You got all of these people that supposedly did an investigation. MBI. You can go from Fernando, Mississippi to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and you can go to every district attorney's office and most law enforcement agencies to tell you they don't want them anywhere near them because they don't know how to do investigations. They can write darn good reports. They don't know how to do investigations. The investigation that was done into Christian Andreacchio's death by MBI is a joke.
I don't remember seeing that report.
I've seen it. I've read it. It's a joke.
But it is what I'm talking about, they didn't want to have the bullet ricocheting all over the
I
ground.
remember hearing that, but I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I saw it.
Well, it's all theory. There's no forensic fact. They say, well, we had this meeting with these people because we went to this conference and we decided that the reason why there was no blowback on the gun was because he must have had his hoodie on. And that is like, they come up with this theory, but there's no
No
proof.
way, he's got the muzzle and the guide rod stamped in the side.
Right, exactly.
Okay, let's go,
There's a lot of evidence.
let's not talk about what hasn't happened and what should have happened and could have happened and maybe, went wrong. Let's talk about where we go from here. I think that's a concern. Where do we go from here?
I
Get that
fully agree.
DNA tested.
If, the DA over there, the new one that stepped in and got a 400 decibel lift, if she ain't on board, you ain't going nowhere.
Well, the only thing is it's an election year coming up.
Right, I'm just saying, if she ain't on board, I can just tell you that.
Let me answer this question. And these are some things. And if you don't mind, I have to say, there's some other evidence that y'all are not aware of.
So we don't have to be made aware of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
If that other evidence, along with the evidence that is already known in this case,
Right.
makes the case more concrete, and it comes out of this department and goes over to the DA's office, and it is presented to a grand jury, not by the AG's office, not by MBI. That evidence is presented to a grand jury. I think it could be, if there will be an indictment.
Well,
But we can, once all of that is compiled and sit down and talk with Cassie about it,
is she on board with this?
I don't know, I haven't talked to her.
Going that quick, but my deal is Cassie gonna get on board and even hear this? And if she is, where is she? She need to get over here and get in the game. Because I don't wanna just go over here with all this stuff, just like I did with Bilbo, saying, here it is, and they didn't want to hear nothing I gotta say.
I don't think anybody here can answer the question as to whether Cassie is gonna be on board, but I think if you
I
present,
talked to her,
Is she?
said she wanted to be at the meeting, and,
Well, she basically said that she didn't know anything about the case. Bilbo kept the file. They don't even have a file on the case. He took the file over to the AG's office and they have nothing, nobody in the office knows anything about the case.
Right.
That in itself is unusual.
Well, he was hell bent on shutting it down, 'cause like I say, whenever I said, well, at least we can agree that he was sitting on the toilet, one of the papers shot was fired, and he's like, how do you figure that? He wouldn't even admit to that. That's how
well, he went down to Knox and Associates, and he told them he had enough for murder, because they showed him that he was standing in the middle of the room from the window. Y'all need to talk to Knox and Associates.
But right now, if we could get nothing else done but the DNA that has sat over there for 5 years, that everybody says is not there, that is there, because I know someone who is in law enforcement, who knows someone at the crime lab, and about once a month, she lays eyes on it to make sure that nobody is caught and had it destroyed.
Would you
And the reason-
give us her name?
I mean, y'all just have to do this at
Have
Pearl.
we told you it wasn't there?
No, you haven't told us that.
I mean,
but-
this department has.
No,
Okay,
no.
okay.
But just, actually,
Who
Cassie told,
submitted
Todd,
the evidence?
they got it off the gun.
I mean, did we submit the gun?
That was before I took over.
Yeah, had 3 swabs off the gun.
Well, almost they did, but yeah.
Somebody, whoever took.
Well, whoever
the swab
submitted the
out.
evidence, it's important that we know who submitted. We can find out if we
It
did.
may have been it probably was when Bradley had it. Because Bradley was who we went through and went back and forth because the crime lab in Jackson does not have a technology because it's a small mixed sample, meaning it's more than 2 people on the gun. It was not enough, so we said, we'll pay to have it sent out to an outside forensic lab and have it analyzed because we were told that an outside lab that had better technology could get information from it. I found the lab, the whole thing, went back and forth between Brad and Bilbo. Bilbo wouldn't allow it.